fans, do you want to win your share of $100,000? Simply enter the houseofboxing.com Fight Night Prediction Challenge. Compete with boxing fans around the world. Simply head over to houseofboxing.com and sign up now.
This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted to be joined with the British heavyweight champion, Mr. Fabio Wardley. We are back out in about over 10 days' time. David Adeleye, Saudi Arabia, a massive opportunity for you. Just, I suppose, a standard first question. How's things been, mate? How have you been keeping?
Yeah, everything's been really good, thanks, mate. Training's gone really well. Prep's gone really well. It's all fallen into place nicely, to be honest. So, like you say, just over a week to go before the big night, and everything's on track.
How do you prepare for a fight like this against David Adeleye? You know, now you're the British champion, you've got the belt, you're the A side, you're the man in control. Do you feel like that's changed your mentality? Do you feel like do you see that championship mentality when, you know what, I'm 20-30% better, or do you think we'll see that when you have the fights?
I think I base myself off proven evidence. I've had hard fights. I've been in tough fights before. I've come through them pretty comfortably. I've never really been in too much trouble in any one fight or any one situation. So I think that's where I base myself at, is that, look, I've been, seen and done it, especially with like being on a big show, being chief support to big events, being under those lights on the night is a bit of a different feeling. So it's something, though, but for me, it will feel quite normal. Something I've done, like I say, I've done before.
And you said there about being in the big nights, being in the big fights. How much do you feel like that could be to your advantage when you've, instead of sort of facing, 10 or 12 or 13 guys that have been knockovers essentially, you've fought guys that have come to win and have come, that give you a good challenge as much as you're going to give them. Do you feel like you've benefited so much more and it preps you mentally for when, the real time where you have to be tested? Yeah,
because you gain that experience and gain that confidence that I've been through a rough situation, but I've got it in me to kick on and push through and keep going, where if you haven't gone through them situations, it leaves a bit of question marks in you, you're a bit doubtful of yourself, your skills, your abilities or whatever, and then that's all amplified by, on the night, you're on such a big show, such a big event, so many people watching, and it all can get a bit much. But like I say, for me, I've done it quite a few times over now, so it's a comfortable place for me.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get on to the night that itself. Doesn't really get bigger, but doesn't really get bigger for the rest of the year for fights like this. Fury obviously takes on Francis Ngannou in a worldwide blockbuster event. For yourself, having that opportunity to be in such an occasion and be so high up on the card on an occasion like that must be a special feeling for you. Yeah,
definitely. It's a privilege to be a part of a big show. Don't get me wrong, I've been a part of big shows before, but this one has a bit of a different feel to it. It's got a bit of a different buzz around it. Like even so much as like some of the promo vids and things that have come out for this have been so good. So it just gives you that extra little bit of feeling that this is something special, and that again it gives you that little bit of, yeah, hang on, I'm proud to be a part of this, because this is going to be something that people are going to remember.
British title obviously on the line as well. Does that make it extra feeling? I mean, this fight is big enough in itself, whether the British title or it is or it isn't on the line. But does it make you feel extra better?
Yeah, it's something we wanted when we first put this fight together in the first place. We wanted it to be on the card. I wanted to have this as an official defence of my belt. And just not just that, but to take the belt as well and showcase it on a massive platform. That was a big thing for me as well. Showcase British boxing, British heavyweight boxing. And for me to be the man to do that is something I'm very proud of.
Is it a bit of a privilege that it's you? Because I think the only time it's ever been fought before is it was fought in Gibraltar a couple of years ago, and I got told Australia as well. So this is the first time. I think that was like in the early 1900s. So it was that no time recently. So for yourself, do you see that a little bit of an extra privilege that yourself and David are the two people that are ones to battle it out?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it's to be the one to carry that, for me to have the British belt and to take it overseas and showcase the belt and the quality of me as a fighter on such a massive platform is something that I'm really proud to be able to do. Yeah.
So we'll get into the fight. David Adeleye, the mandatory challenger, after all the situation that happened with Fraser Clark, obviously that's in the past now, I'm not going to get too much of it. Are you eager now to get going and eager to get started after being messed around really, and now you're fighting David Adeleye?
Yeah, inactivity is never fun. It's never nice to feel like you're just sitting on the sidelines and watching kind of the world or the boxing world go by, where people are having fights and they're doing this, that, and you're just kind of sat there waiting. But this fight got made, got done, was easy enough to put together, and there was kind of no fun and games in the middle. It was just, let's get the job done. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about David Adeleye. Obviously, a lot of needle between the two of you. First all really started when he pulled up to the press conference of the weigh-in when you fought on the AJ undercard against Franklin. Does it feel finally now that there's been a big build-up to this fight? There's a lot of needle between the two, and you're both going to settle the score.
Yeah, there's been a long kind of back and forth going on for a long time, and it's helped build the fight, and it's built the fight to a nice place where now it's on a massive stage, and it's up to me to go out on the night and showcase my skills and do what I know I'm capable of doing.
And as you said, it's a lot of the stuff has obviously been negative. Obviously, we'll talk about the red carpet things and everything that's gone into it. Although that might be looked as negative, but it's the publicity for it has made it 10 times a bigger fight than it could ever be, really. Yeah,
don't get me wrong. The fight itself was massive. Sprinkle a little bit of drama on top, and obviously it amplifies that tenfold. So it's great. It's great for the fight. Some of the situations that occurred were a bit silly, but it is what it is. Boxing and some of the people in it can be a bit like that at times. But thankfully it's done. The fight's going ahead, and we're happy to get on the big stage with it.
And when you see this needle, not much of the animosity have come from you. A lot of it is from David's side. Where do you think this really comes from him?
Fear. I think fear. I think it's he realises that he's not experienced enough to deal with someone like me. He's not experienced enough to be on a show like this. He's not done it before. It's all a bit new to him, and he's a bit like a deer in headlights almost, just feeling a bit out of his depth. I think that's all hit home to him and all sunk in a bit, and he's really a bit like jittery and on edge about kind of how it's all going to play out and what's going to happen to him after he gets knocked out on the 28th.
It's funny what you said about what you just mentioned there and going back to previously about you've been tried and tested. Do you feel like the guys that you've been in with compared to the guys that he's been in with, the fights that he's had, you just have the advantage, on a base experience level?
Yeah, I was taking hard fights in early stages of my career. Like early stage. Like I think in my 10th or 11th, my 10th fight, I think I fought Simon Vallily, who was Commonwealth Games gold medalist, like a decorated ABA champion. And then after that, I fought Eric Molina, who's two-time world heavyweight title challenger. That's like, those two together are better than anyone on his resume whatsoever. And then you add in the Nick Webbs and the Nathan Gormans as well, and then it's like, well, our resumes aren't comparable, not even slightly. Not even close.
Why do you think you get under his skin?
I don't know. I think I'm where he really wants to be. I think I have the resume, I have the career, and I'm at the point in my career where he really wants, but he doesn't have any of those things. He has none of the accolades to back up anything or this belief or persona he has of himself. He has nothing to really kind of go to it, so he's maybe angry at me that I've got all the things that he wants.
When you have this animosity, does it make the motivation a little bit extra in training compared to, as you said, a guy like the previous fighters you had before?
Yeah, a touch. Like, don't get me wrong, I never underestimate anyone, and I'm always training 100% for my fights. But when there's a bit of needle in the middle and there's someone who really, they're going at you and they have a lot to say for themselves, it gives you a little bit of extra motivation to put them in their place.
Obviously now this is on a Queensberry bill, and sort of after not leaving Matchroom, but now you're sort of with Queensberry. What's that whole situation been like for yourself?
Yeah, it's been great to work with Queensberry. They've been really good, really professional to work with, and I'm quite liking it over here. So maybe we'll do a few more.
Obviously, being with Matchroom before, and Adeley's been in his career at Queensberry. Do you feel like, in a sense, that obviously you are the champion, but do you feel like you're the away fighter that they're sort of preferring potentially Adeleye?
No, not at all, really. I haven't got that feeling from anyone from Queensberry that I've spoken to or that I've met. I think, if anything, Uncle Frank's realised that he kind of bet on the wrong horse of Adeleye, and he's brought me over to kind of get rid of that and take over the mantle for him.
And for yourself now, in such a stacked domestic heavyweight division, for there's so many big names, especially on a domestic level, you sit at the top of the tree, and everyone really is calling your name. How good of a feeling is that for you? That after you are like the man, you're the man in charge in a sense.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels well earned as well to be at the top, because I've gone through those hard fights, those rough moments that earned my place here, and then it's almost validation when you're at the top and people calling your name and they've got stuff to say about you, because then it just proves you are where you think you are, and you're the man to beat.
And for yourself, where you never had the extensive amateur background, or a lot of it from a white collar background, and you never had the experience that some other guys could have. And when do you think back when you first had your first white collar fight, your first fight, to now that you're going to be being on the Fury and Ngannou bill in Saudi Arabia, being the British champion, how special was that as a feeling for you? And is it a bit of a pinch yourself moment?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely. Because like I said, when you start out in your career, you're not really sure where you're going to end up. You have aspirations and goals and things, but especially when you came from a background like mine, with starting off white collar and having no amateur experience, it is a bit of a whirlwind to have been thrown into this life, but I've absolutely loved every minute of it. And then to be on a massive stage like this is really kind of just a little step back and have a look and go, yeah, okay, I'm doing pretty well here.
Do you ever get to do that much, where you step back and you look at career, potentially when you won the British title, or moments like this when you're with your team or you're with the people that mean the most to you, and you look back and look what you've achieved, or do you think that's probably something that you look at the end of your career?
Yeah, it's definitely something I do. It's not something I try and delve into too often or for too long. But I'll give myself a little 30 seconds here and there, maybe after a fight, after a show or whatever, and go, that's pretty good. Because I think as well, I want to get to the end of my career and remember the moments and remember being in them, not just kind of like with your blinders on and not paying attention to anything around you, because I think it's part of it to kind of soak in these massive events.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, just as we finish this off, Fabio, how does it end on October the 28th?
It ends like all my other fights have ended, with a KO, and my hand being raised, and I got a new belt to show off as well.
100%, Fabio. Thank you for your time. Always appreciate catching up with you, and I'll see you in Saudi, mate. So all the best for mate. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.